position paper, it seems that the foreign policy has only been shaped by after 2014. This 2014-centric approach of foreign policy undermines the people and the processes which were involved since 1947. In a conflict between oppressor and the oppressed, India never was neutral.
Say yes, 2014 was a watershed moment. Yes, our foreign policy has become more dynamic, more effective, more prominent after 2014. Professor Jha suggested that he could do my job better.
Many a time when we read about Government of India's stand or position paper, it seems that the foreign policy has only been shaped by after 2014. So this 2014-centric approach of foreign policy undermines the people and the processes which were involved since 1947. India had a very stated position, Honourable Minister, sir, through you, Honourable Chairman. In a conflict between oppressor and the oppressed, India never was neutral. Between a fight between an elephant and an ant, if your neutrality helps the elephant. Between Ukraine and Russia, it was a very, very delicate chapter. We have our versions different from you, but whatever I think you could create a space, you did, but it could have been better.
Since you are asking me, I would say yes, 2014 was a watershed moment. Yes, things have changed better after 2014. Yes, our foreign policy has become more dynamic, more effective, more prominent after 2014. Professor Jha suggested that he could do my job better. I mean, that is certainly he is free to hold that opinion. We have been clear, publicly clear at the Prime Minister's level that this is not an era of war. We have consistently urged dialogue and diplomacy. When it comes to the impact of the war on Indian people or in the rest of the world, we have also done the right things about that. We have taken measures to soften the impact, whether it is of fuel or whether it is of food inflation, whether it is of fertilizer costs. So if it is your contention that our position has been in putting the interests of the Indian public first, I plead guilty to it. Yes, I put the interests of the Indian public first. Prime Minister's initiative on lifestyle for environment, and India's millet initiative, which has resulted in the UN declaration of the year 2023 as the International Year of Millets, would also be prominent in India's approach towards addressing the SDGs. Today, we are building stronger bridges with both developing countries and advanced economies. Apart from our G20 presidency, we are members of a growing number of groups and mechanisms. Some of them are relatively established, like the BRICS and Commonwealth. Others have been more recent, like the Quad and SCO, and still others are emerging, like the I2U2 and the Indo-Pacific Economic Framework. We are also increasingly engaging the world in group formats, reflecting the growing interest on their part to cooperating with India. This could be with the ASEAN, with Africa or the Pacific Islands, or indeed the Nordic nations, CARICOM, CELAC, or Central Asia. Our growing collaboration with the European Union is of particular importance. Chairman, sir, I would like to share with the House that the ministers of MEA have been equally active during this period. I have myself hosted the foreign ministers of Maldives, France, Singapore, Botswana, United Kingdom, Ghana, Gabon, Belarus, Syria, UAE, and Germany in this period. I would also highlight the India-Singapore Ministerial Roundtable and the collective interaction with 12 African ministers dealing with education and skills who were here at the invitation of my colleague Dharmendra Pradhan that took place in Delhi. It would give the honourable members a sense of the breadth of our engagement and the growing global interest in India. This was also in evidence during my outgoing visits to Thailand, Brazil, Paraguay, Argentina, UAE, Japan, Saudi Arabia, Uzbekistan, USA, Australia, New Zealand, Egypt, and Russia. It was my privilege to represent India at the UN General Assembly high-level segment this year. I took the occasion to engage with the G4, the L69, Quad, IPSA, BRICS, CELAC, and CARICOM, and hold multiple trilaterals and bilaterals. Our ministers of state have been equally vigorous in promoting India's interests abroad. Sri Muralidharanji went to Brazil, Senegal, USA, Oman, Djibouti, Kenya, Eritrea, and Nigeria. Srimati Meenakshi Lekhiji represented India at the SICA summit at Kazakhstan and visited Georgia, Norway, Iceland, and Malta. Dr. Rajkumar Ranjan Singhji was our representative at the IORA Ministerial and visited Indonesia. So, the House would also be aware that as the chair of the Counter-Terrorism Committee of the UN Security Council, India hosted its special meeting in October. All 15 members participated and paid homage to victims of the 26/11 terrorist attack at the Memorial Wall in the Taj Mahal Palace Hotel. This was the first time that the UNSC held a meeting in India. The Delhi Declaration emphasized the need to display zero tolerance towards terrorism and to combat it in all its forms and manifestations. Chairman, sir, I am happy to inform the House that after a gap created by COVID, India will be hosting the 17th Pravasi Bharatiya Divas at Indore from 8 to 10 January 2023. This year's theme acknowledges the contributions of Indian diaspora as, quote, diaspora, reliable partners for India's progress in Amrit Kal, unquote. The 32 million Indian diaspora is a great source of support for our country. India's 4C commitment of care, connect, celebrate and contribute would be on display during these celebrations. His Excellency President Muhammad Irfan Ali of Guyana will be the chief guest of the Pravasi Bharatiya Divas 2023. Where Republic Day 2023 is concerned, we have invited His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi of Egypt as the chief guest. He has graciously accepted the invitation. Honorable members would also be glad to know that the 12th World Hindi Conference will be jointly organized by India and Fiji from 15 to 17 February 2023 at Fiji. This will be the first occasion for hosting this event in the Pacific region. Chairman, sir, foreign policy today is no longer just an exercise of a ministry or even simply that of the government. It has a direct impact on the daily lives of all Indians. This may be in ensuring that our products have market access or that our talent gets into the global workplace. But it is equally an effort to ensure that technology, best practices and capital flow into India. Our endeavor in a difficult global situation is that the welfare of the Indian people is ensured, however challenging the circumstances. This may be in exceptional situations like Operation Ganga in Ukraine, or the ability to access key necessities like energy and fertilizers on affordable terms. Or indeed, in concluding migration and mobility partnerships, as we have just done with Germany. Indian foreign policy is there to serve the Indian people. We will do whatever it takes to discharge that responsibility. It could be in ensuring international support for our policies or in the acceptance globally of our interests and objectives. These may be difficult times, but it is also an occasion to display our leadership and make a strong contribution to global peace, stability, growth, and security. Honorable members know this well and understandably approach the ministry sometimes with their particular concerns and issues. It has been our earnest effort to respond as effectively and as sincerely as possible to their communications. We are extremely conscious that foreign policy must respond to the requirements and demands of our society.